time. A noisy neighbour gives as good as she gets.
I'm not turning my music off and I'm going to have my birthday party.
A city centre infested with infected needles.
You can get HIV, you can catch any kind of disease.
And a street patrol is taking no prisoners in the war on cigarette butts.
It's a fixed penalty notice for £50.
But first, a bungalow in Devon was until recently home to an elderly lady. She has since died and 2 extreme cleaners have arrived to clear the house. Today, boss Richard Honey has a new partner.
Well, this is Steve's first day. He's being thrown in at a deep end.
One of the reasons I was picked by Richard, I've got a superpower of not smelling.
Since a blow to the head, Steve has completely lost his sense of smell.
He gets a lovely task of doing the fridge freezer.
Tell me truthfully, do I look like Marshmallow Man?
The suits may look over the top, but Richard likes to do things by the book. He even wants Steve to wear 2 pairs of gloves.
Second pair.
Second pair?
Yeah, always wear double layers.
Okay.
Because when you come to take them off later, you take the top pair off that are contaminated, leaves you with a relatively safe pair underneath. It's antimicrobial. Better to be too safe than to suffer the consequences.
Recently trained as a crime scene cleaner, Richard takes his responsibilities very seriously.
Not even the postman knows what's in behind here. Ooh.
It looks like their precautions were unnecessary.
Looks like the relations done a bit of tidying. Dining room. And a lovely kitchen. That's going to be fun. And the all-important fridge freezer.
Oh, my baby.
I don't know what that is.
It looks smelly to me. I mean, there's food, there's grime, it's everywhere. And my head is slightly spinning a bit.
And be very careful because things like all the mould and the worktops are going to be swimming in salmonella, E. coli.
Oh.
Let's go and see what works for us in the bathroom.
But Richard doesn't have Steve's special power.
You're lucky, Steve, you can't smell the loo from over there, but it's certainly pen and inking a bit. Definitely whiffy.
And now for the bedroom.
Fair smell of BO. Sort of wonder when you sort of see somebody's dressing gown and you've got stains like that on it. That's going to be quite contaminated. You can't just bung it in a skip or take it down the local tip. They have to be professionally taken care of.
And there's just one more door to look behind.
This one's more just like a
Spare room.
spare room, bit untidy. Right.
Tea's made for later on.
Yay! Hot cuppa.
Assessment complete. The next stage is a clear out. In Birmingham, there's a tale of 2 cities. The fine Victorian architecture speaks of civic pride, but even here, there's a dark secret. Heroin use is rife, and the drug users find places to leave their paraphernalia where the police can't reach. There are 2 extreme cleaners, however, who can. Meet Colin and Simon.
People have been dropping needles in there and they need to get it all cleared out.
But getting into the light well is not as simple as it seems.
Well, we've got a bunch of keys for the hatch. I don't know which key it is, so I'll have a job finding it.
It looks like they could be here all day.
Needle in the haystack, trying to get the padlock open.
Colin is first over the top into the filth below. The lads are well aware of the dangers.
If there's fresh blood in the needles, then you are injected with it. You can get HIV, you can catch any kind of disease.
Looks like it's been used, doesn't it?
Yep.
So it's pushed all the way in.
But why are the needles left here?
So the police can't get in here, can they? So they're just getting rid of the needles down here. So they're not being caught carrying them.
Builders want access here, but this is dangerous.
If the builders come up to the hatch and actually see maybe a pen on the floor, or it might even look like a pen, but they might think it's a needle, they won't come in here. And the call us out again.
Luckily, Colin and Simon know what they're looking for.
We look at the spoons as well, with the drug paraphernalia.
Carl, there's some spoons there.
But they weren't expecting forks.
Could have been robbed and just been dumped down here. Once again, you don't know. They've got a canteen above here and they've flung them out the window.
It's a filthy business, but Simon wouldn't have it any other way.
I like working outdoors.
Lee's a half a pencil pusher anyway, so he sits in the office quite often.
And whatever the dangers involved, Colin and Simon are two filth fighters always willing to have a go.
Another job well done.
Done.
Back at the Devon bungalow, Richard is showing rookie filth fighter Steve the ropes.
I'm going to introduce you to the joys of the fogger. It's the special antimicrobial that we use. So just to be safe, because you can't smell danger. So by having that on, helps to keep you safe and sound.
I laugh at the face of danger.
But work of this sort is never a laughing matter.
You ready, Steve?
Yep.
The antimicrobial mist reaches every filthy nook and cranny. And then the contaminated items can be wiped clean.
We haven't got to the grotty stuff yet. We're just doing the personal stuff. I'm not sure if that's polish or dirt.
The personal belongings here tell a poignant story.
Old scissors. When you're throwing away stuff, you need to double check in case there's anything valuable that you can put to one side for the relatives. The small little badges.
You've seen these little whimsies and all these trinkets? My mum's got loads of them. All somebody's memories.
You can't get emotional about it. As they say, it's a dirty job and someone's got to do it.
So how did this job fall to these lads?
I was a courier for a few years. Ended up filling in between jobs as being a window cleaner.
At the moment I work with special needs lads. EBD, ADHD, Tourette's, Asperger's. And it's quite an interesting job. But I'm afraid paperwork's killing the job.
Doing some research on the internet and found a reference to crime scene cleaning and thought that sounds interesting.
As I've known Richard for quite a while actually. And he came up with this cleaning and I thought, I'll have a go at that.
Amongst the sad remnants of an individual's life lies one treasured possession.
Somebody's pride and joy. Probably still works, but yeah, tells you one little thing about the person that lived here. She was quite artistic.
Family heirlooms will be saved, but the remaining furniture must now be broken up for the skip. Richard's lightness of touch is no match for ex-soldier Steve's. Coming up, Steve finds relief in small mercies.
Not being able to smell and lack of imagination. It's a bonus.
Some absent-minded smokers learn a costly lesson.
Your cigarette butt you've just dropped on the floor.
And two nighthawks fight the filth that fills our ears.
It's a disease noise.
You're not ruining nothing for me. Put that in your pipe and smoke.
Previous tenants' possessions, but now Richard and Steve are preparing for serious biological warfare against an invisible enemy.
Just about to do the bathroom. It's quite a hazardous area because of all the body fluids and that are around and waste matter. So we'll start off with a bit of degreaser down in the loo.
These are hazardous substances, and it's a perilous environment.
You can't say it's enjoyable, but when it's finished, you do get a good sense of satisfaction.
The kitchen worktops could well be riddled with toxic spores, but the real filth factory lies behind the fridge door.
I'm going in, first time I've opened the fridge, and it's grey. I don't know if it smells, you guys will have to tell me that.
Steve may be immune to the smell, but not to the feel.
Oh, well, that felt horrible, that did. This is actually starting to turn my stomach now. That's not pleasant. And, oh, I thought that was mushrooms, but it's pork chops apparently. This is not nice. And just look at the blood now on the bottom of the fridge.
Undaunted by the sight of blood, Steve fights the filth with the aid of his superpowers.
Not being able to smell and lack of imagination. It's a bonus. But I must admit, some of that stuff in there filtered through my imagination and made me queasy.
In the bedroom, Richard faces a different biological threat.
Okay, let's see what lovelies we've got in here. Right. We've got what appears to be fecal matter. But what we need to double check as well is what's under here. What you've got there is a very bad urine stain. So we'll need to carefully take the rest of the bedding off, sanitise as best we can the mattress, and then that would have to go directly to a specialist incineration plant.
The sanitising spray will kill any bacteria here, but for the greasy kitchen sink, Richard will deploy another chemical weapon.
So like this one is sulfuric acid.
Best not try this at home.
That's man's cleaning. Forget your gifs and your lemons and your vinegars.
There we go, ain't she lovely?
Now Steve joins the fray. He's armed and dangerous.
Right, what I'm doing now is I'm sanitising this. It's all going to be ripped out. So I'm spraying it with 429, which is a bad boy of disinfectants.
Richard now pours strong-smelling bleach onto the contents of the skip as a potent warning to others.
People associate the bleach with danger. Plus it'll bleach the colouring on any clothes that are there, so no one's going to even contemplate using it themselves. Just extra little precautions.
They may be extreme cleaners, but do Richard and Steve come clean at home?
When I get at home at the end of the evening, if I've been doing one of these clean-ups, I usually like to make sure the family have had their tea first.
I'm not telling her I've been cleaning up. She want it all the time.
Before long, the battle against bacteria has been won, and the filthy bungalow is suitably transformed.
Steve's first day actually on the job, and he's done really well. Not having a sense of smell meant that he can have the joy of clearing out all the fridge freezers.
Physical side's not a problem. Nice and steady, backwards and forwards to skip. I could do that for days. I think I'm going to enjoy doing this.
This job may be physically and emotionally challenging, but for Steve and Richard, it certainly has its rewards. 8 p.m. in Lewisham, and for noise abatement officers Brian and Paul, it's the start of the night shift.
It's a disease noise. Or it seems to be getting that way anyway, from what I've seen.
Of course we call them vampires, because they sleep all day and party all night. Yeah.
If they conform to what you ask, then there's no problem. But if they do start to play up, in the end, I mean, there's only one winner, really, and that's the council, that's us.
They've received a complaint by a female at a flat in a converted house.
All right, what seems to be the problem then?
The music's too loud.
So if I go into the bedroom, have a listen?
Yeah, well, we've turned it off now. It's like it's playing musical chairs. It goes off and on all night.
Right on cue, the music returns.
This is a constant thing.
All the time.
How long's it been going for?
It starts whenever he gets in and then whenever he goes to sleep.
All right, we're going to have words with him, see what we do for you, mate. All right?
Sir, Lewisham Council Noise Team. It's about your music. It's affecting people in the block. Any chance you can reduce it down a tad for us? Yeah, no problem. Yeah?
Thanks for your help.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers then. Ta.
Come down there.
That's about as easy as they get. Which is not bad. First one of the night. Well, the gentleman obviously straight away said he'd turn the music down. No arguments. Job done, really.
A lull in proceedings means Brian and Paul must play a waiting game.
Hopefully get busy in a minute.
Not too busy, though.
And now it's starting to rain. Don't like the rain.
Yeah, there's bound to be something going on somewhere.
Hang on. Here we go. 11 o'clock.
On the button.
On the button. Oh, mate. Okie dokie then, mate. What's the noise call?
Off to the next one. If there's something that's going to happen, it's going to happen to me and Paul. If there's any illegal raves, every nutter in Lewisham wants to party in it, it'll happen on our shift.
A party has disturbed an upstairs neighbour who has called the council to complain. It seems it's a case of bass and a neighbourly feud.
Alright, is it too loud?
Yeah.
I will turn it down. If it's too loud, then I expect them to tell me that it is too loud, or you know what I mean? Because they can come and knock on the door like you've just done.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
how it runs. We just sweep one complaining, we have to come.
Yeah.
Don't want to come back and
Otherwise,
serve a
I
notice on you.
This is just like my birthday party. Do you understand me?
Appreciate it, yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah, you've got to do your job.
Yeah,
I
so
do
we
know
get
that.
complaint.
But I'm going to put my music back on, but I won't have it on loud.
All right then, sweetheart.
All right
then. Ta.
Ta.
She's a nice perp, if you want to put it like that. We've got to sort of respect the fact that if she's having a birthday party, it can go on, but just at a lower level, which it is now.
Brian and Paul leave the perp to party on. They've had another call from a flat nearby.
I think one of the people go to bed with the radio on, and there's a low bass that keeps coming through the wall.
But there's no evidence of the noise pollution he's describing.
It'll come to you. It's not one of those immediately.
Right. You'll find people greeting you at the door. Shh, you know, take your shoes off,
Don't
or
bang up
creep
the
up the stairs. Don't make a noise. You know nothing's going to be heard. So Paul usually walks like heavier footed than he normally does when they ask him to do that.
Especially if it's a noisy old staircase.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, the lads are led to the bathroom.
It's not a bedroom, so I can't deal with it from here.
Oh.
I need a bedroom where it would affect you, because this is a bathroom, it's not a habitable room.
They listen hard for the noise that's brought them here.
We were standing here for quite a while, and there was no way we could even hear each other breathing, so... It's one of those that's in the background, you get a tune to it. Yeah. It could even be something in his own house. We've had that before. You usually find out, we've got a humming. You get in their house, you stand there and you go, it's coming from your freezer downstairs. Oh, is it? OK, thank you, and you walk out.
It's one of those tricky ones where sometimes you can hear it.
Sod's law.
We've had people ask us to lay on the bed to feel it and hear it. And
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, it's usually their blood pressure.
high blood pressure. Sometimes in the end you do lay up just so they let you out.
Yeah.
Right, OK then. If it does go on, give us another ring. It's no probs.
That's that one. All quiet on arrival.
Part of the job. Got to laugh.
Yep.
But nearby, things are hotting up at the party house. For Brian and Paul, the night is still young. Early evening, and 2 enforcement officers have got their eyes on the smokers of Chelmsford. Discarded cigarette ends account for around 122 tonnes of UK litter every day.
I'm just going to caution you for this, OK?
Claire and Adam have the power to issue hefty on-the-spot fines, and they're not afraid to use it. Why use the carrot and stick approach if the stick will do?
Your cigarette butt you've just dropped on the floor.
I shouldn't have done. I'm really sorry.
OK, that's fine.
You can run, but you can't hide.
I appreciate that you've put it into the bin. It's a fixed penalty notice for £50 if you pay it within 10 days.
It takes a special sort of filth fighter to play the bad cop, and for Adam, it's become a vocation.
I never really thought I would end up doing enforcement work on a high street, but I'm glad I do it because it really gives me quite a bit of satisfaction.
We're enforcement officers for Chelmsford Borough Council. We try and be as polite and courteous as possible. There's never a reason not to be. I just want to let you know.
Look, job's worse, man.
Rather than leave it around, eh?
We'll have the occasional highly irate, tightly strung member of the public that doesn't like the situation they're in.
Taking the public to task is inevitably confrontational, but sometimes it can bring results.
After being fined this morning, I shall never put a cigarette out. At the time, they're kind of irate by it, but once they've had time to reflect on it a bit, they've lost that anger, and they probably do think it's actually a good idea to do this.
Hopefully the word spreads that, littering's not an acceptable practice.
Adam and Claire are doing their bit. It's time for us to do ours. Back in Lewisham, the noise patrol are being kept busy. At the party house, the volume has gone up.
It's 2:15 now.
All right, I'll turn it right down.
If I don't get back, you'll get a notice this time.
All right.
I don't want to do that, all right?
All right, turn it down a bit, Leroy.
The face is thumping there.
Come on, turn it down a little bit more, turn it down.
Now, some of the guests want to know who's raining on their parade.
If you want to say you know, it's
The young guys in there came out and they wanted to have a go.
Listen to me. Hold on a minute. Sorry, stop, Danny. 1 second.
I'm sorting them out. She can control them. If she wasn't there, it could have quite easily gone mad.
Yeah.
Today I'm having a party and it's my... I understand what you're saying.
We know that, mate.
Right.
But it's like when we turned up, the windows were vibrating, it was bassy.
Right.
And it's like 2:15.
Really? No,
See what I mean?
no, that you can't do.
A blast of feedback, and the birthday girl gives her guests some feedback of her own. It seems there's a perfectly reasonable explanation.
It is my birthday. I am 45 and I'm having a birthday party. Do you understand? And I never make no noise. I've never done nothing.
And nothing's going to stop the hostess with the mostest noise.
I'm not turning my music off and it's going to play and it's going to be an acceptable level and I'm going to have my birthday party. You're not ruining nothing for me. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
It's after 2 in the morning and the guests are still arriving.
It's not them. Don't even pick on them. They're good. They're the good guys. Trust me.
We're not party poopers. Everyone's entitled to a party. It's just you've got to reduce the noise down.
Some tracks we play, because people are talking on the mic, we've done the happy birthday and we've done all that, and everyone's talking on the mic. It's the actual mic that's making that. It's not actually...
Well, it was music when we pulled up, mate.
All right, was it music?
Yeah, it was
all right,
the bass.
so well, it was the tune. No, but I'm saying it's the tune.
Yeah, but
it's,
what
all
we're
right.
down for us.
Right, so, all right, you stand there and tell me what you can hear and what you think is acceptable.
Brian and Paul have barely spoken a word, but it seems their message has been received and understood.
Is that okay? Yeah, we can have it like that and don't turn it up no more, mate, all right? Well, then we'll roll with that, yeah?
So you've got to be a people person. You've got to be able to read people and what their actions mean, that sort of thing. And it's something that comes with experience.
Thank you very much. Thank you. See you later. See you later, Paul. And see you later, Brian. Thank you.
And peace reigns at last.
There was a possibility there of it going a bit, well, should I say, tits up.
Brian and Paul may be on their way, but it ain't over till the Silver Lady sings.